Now, officials in the Kingdom of Eswatini have lifted the suspension of Facebook. The platform was shut down amid escalating political violence and crisis in that country. Protests are still banned, though, and regional mediators are trying to resolve the crisis. Lucky Lukele represents the Swaziland Solidarity Network, and he joins us now live from the Kingdom. Mr. Lukele, thank you very much for your time. Now, how are things looking in the Kingdom of Eswatini? Are things still tense?
Well, good morning, Maseko and the viewers at home. The situation is still quite tense. Many comrades are being buried today, those that were killed in the past weeks. Yes, indeed, the team did arrive off Sadak, and they are still in Swaziland. Possibly they'll be coming back maybe today. And that yesterday they met the leadership of the civil society and political parties. What happened on Wednesday, we saw unprecedented violence meted against the people, where 7 were shot at point blank and killed. More than 20 were hospitalized for different injuries. This includes nurses, members of the Swaziland National Nurses Union, who were shot, and one has unfortunately passed on. The other one is still in critical situation in Babane government hospitals. So that's the kind of a situation where the people of Swaziland have been subjected to for the past years, since 1973, when political parties were banned and any form of political activity was criminalized.
Now, Mr. Lukele, the Deputy Prime Minister, Themba Masuku, earlier this week telling people that everything is calm, that they were banning Facebook to protect the people of Swaziland. So obviously the government at the moment of Swaziland is downplaying what really is happening on the ground.
Well, we are not surprised at all. Mr. Masuku is a pathological liar. He has been doing it for some time. For instance, during the COVID, when it was quite bad, he banned and issued a curfew that people should not be meeting and not going to churches. Yet he allowed the king to hold a reed dance and also called a meeting in the Kekribaya. So basically, some of the rules are only as bad when they are done by the people. The shutdown of the internet, for instance, on Facebook and on WhatsApp was done precisely because they wanted to conceal the evidence as they were conducting their barbarism at a highest level. For instance, the very same Wednesday, the police went and banned a historical school, Kapoyis High School, a school just few kilometers from the city center. Fortunately for the citizens, they were recorded by bystanders, and this evidence is there, so that they justify the killing of people, saying they were banning a school. There is no Swazi that will go and ban a school that he has built with his own hands, because government does not contribute in building of schools. Second, they went and banned a business center that is, or a shop that is owned by one of the incarcerated MPs, MP Mabaqede, to then somehow revenge. A government that does that, surely they've lost all its legitimacy. And that's why, for instance, we are calling for the international community to arrest King Mswati on site, or he must be sanctioned immediately. He must no longer be allowed, from medical point of view or business, or to travel anywhere, beginning with South Africa and Mozambique. Because you can't have a person that has destroyed the health sector and the education, yet he is allowed to take his own kids to very expensive school across the globe and go for medical checkups or medical health care in countries that like South Africa and Taiwan. He must be kicked out. And then only people that must be given that opportunity are the ordinary people of Swaziland. So the king's hands are dripping with the blood of innocent Swazis.
And looking at, the king and what his deputy prime minister keeps telling the world, and the fact that, as you say, this has been an ongoing fight in the kingdom since the 1970s. Are you or the Swazis, confident in this envoy, rather, that President Cyril Ramaphosa has sent to deal with what's happening in the kingdom?
Well, firstly, we do welcome the intervention. It looks different from the previous one that was dispatched by the then chairperson of Troika, president of Botswana. That was an embarrassment of an organ of SADC, because instead of meeting people, they then dine with the royal family and members of government. But this one, what they did in a very short space of time, when they arrived in Swaziland, yes, of course, they met the king. And then the following day, which was yesterday, they met all stakeholders, political parties, civil society, trade union movement, and that we welcome. However, it is for them to make us believe in them. We don't have that power and hope. It has been taken them so long. They've neglected the people of Swaziland for so long. The only hope that we can get, it is their behavior to treat these leaders of civil society and political parties as equal partners like the king. And once they start looking at the king as someone that is above the rest, then they will have lost it. The king has lost all legitimacy to speak on behalf of the Swazi people. The Swazi people can speak for themselves like they are doing right now.